Okay, so we have game 5 up on the board, and right away I see Forager and Jack. You have a couple of villages. It's gonna be a good time. It's not often that you get to use Jack of all trades as the draw card for your engine, and it's only Jack that draws here, so you have to use it if you want to do anything that draws. So I'm gonna open with the Forager and the Jack straight away. We're gonna try to get clean, and it seems like we could get a stack of highways in play, have some buys from festivals, which also works really well with getting Jack to draw, and we should have a good time. There's lots of VP on the board, lots of time to play. So we both go Forager and Jack. I believe my opponent picks up another Forager. On 4, I go for another Forager. On 3, on 4, I would have gone for a second Jack straight away here. And he goes for a Wishing Well here. Goes for a Wishing Well. So again, I see 3 here. I end up with a couple of $3 hands, and I go for a third Forager. Like I said, the game plan is get thin fast so we can start to line up this Festival Forager Jack engine thing going. So as a reason for the Forager there, not the Wishing Well. My opponent continues in on the Wishing Wells, and now I'm going to pick up a Wishing Well, which actually turns out to be quite useful for the rest of this game. I didn't expect it to be, but it was good. It was good. Another $3 hand here, so the Jack misses the shuffle, which is not great, as well as the silver that it gained. So I was really hoping to pick up another Jack on this shuffle. Didn't work out that way, but the couple Wishing Wells turned out to be very useful. You just have to track your deck and know how to guess properly, and it worked really well here. So Jack of all trades comes out here finally, and I do have a lot of money here. I can go for the festival that I was talking about earlier, or I could go for something else if I want. Honestly, the highway maybe is the next best option. There's also Windfall on the board, which I didn't mention. There's also Windfall on the board, which you could get a lot of gold with, but fine, whatever. When we could draw a deck, we'll see about that at that point. So yeah, my opponent picks up a couple of Wishing Wells, so he seems to be going heavily after the Wishing Wells, which I'm completely fine with. Completely fine with. I buy the festival here. Hopefully I can get the festival and Jack to come together, because that Wishing Well thing, okay, it's not reliable, right? It also draws on the board, but it's not reliable. You have to guess well, and for Wishing Well to draw, you have to guess correctly, but then there's also a lot of skill involved, and I was kind of lacking on the skill department there. So first Wishing Well here was to guess copper, because if there was something good at the top of the deck, the second one would have drawn it, and then the second one was the last Wishing Well. I really wanted to see the festival, so I wished for the festival. Got the festival. I was pretty lucky though. I was real lucky, and I'm able to draw what, 4 cards? Yeah, so things are starting to work now, right? Things are starting to work. This is a preview of what things will look like in the future. 10 here, and a handful of buys. I am gonna go for a couple highways, I believe, here. At this point, I think is a really good time to put the highways in the deck. I have lots of plus buy floating around the place, and I should be able to make proper use of that price reduction at this stage of the game here. So we're looking good, we're looking good. In the meantime, my opponent has quite a few Wishing Wells, and he's able to draw through to the end of his deck for the first time here. So when you draw through, you want to consider the Windfall, of course, right? Windfall is there, but like I said, I wasn't worried about the Windfall. I didn't care for it because Forager Jack, Festival Jack, that was just way too cool for me to even bother about Windfall. And not only that, okay, so the gold are stop cards, and it's really difficult to get your Festival and Jack lined up, right? There's no real way to make sure that that happens in the deck here. The Wishing Wells can help a little bit, but you really need to have a lot of things going for you to get a lot of draw to your Jack. You need to find like Festival, Forager with something to trash, and then play the Jack, and then you'll draw something like 3 or 4 cards, which is what you want from your Jack here. You don't want it to just be drawing 1 or 2 cards. You want to be drawing more than that. So my opponent, he doesn't go for the Windfall right away. He goes for a highway and a Wishing Well. But at this point, I'm not worried at all. Not at all worried here. So again, I guess for copper, I didn't get it right. There was another Forager, and it means that I will end up trashing one of my Foragers here. I didn't want to have to do that straight away. I still think I could have picked up some value from that third Forager. There are a couple coppers left in the deck, and the Jacks will continue to pump silver into the deck. So the idea that I had at this point in the game is that, okay, if I have 2 Jacks, well, okay, I have 2 Foragers. Ideally, it would come down to a state where the jacks would gain 2 silvers and the foragers would find those silvers back and trash them. So the deck would start off with no treasure, then the jack would put the 2 treasures in and draw it back up for the foragers to trash. So, but whatever, this works too. I believe these 4 treasure cards are the only treasure cards in my deck right now. I believe so, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so I did trash a silver with the forager, making them worth more. They go up to 2, which is okay, pretty good for me, right? They're just as good as silver, which a jack gets me. And my opponent here picks up a festival and a humble castle. I was a bit surprised at the humble castle there. There's only one reason for the humble castle, and that is, well, to make your foragers better. I can't imagine that he would turn in for points so quickly. So another point to note is that my opponent trashed his jack of all trades. So if he wants to get one back, then he'll have to spend some money and time doing so. He goes for a highway here and another silver. I'm real happy with what's happening so far. I look to be in a better position than he is in so far. And I managed to see a village here. The bazaar again is just for a little bit of security, right? Like I said, the festival jack thing is not the easiest thing to pair up in the world, and I have a bunch of treasure cards and foragers in the deck, so I was just a little bit more conservative there by picking up the bazaar. So highway here, I wish for silvers both times because I would like to find those. I think it's the most plentiful card in the deck at that point. And here I am not going to play the forager first and then the jack, although I could have probably done that and drawn everything. Not entirely certain. Definitely I could have done that. But as it is, I am still able to draw everything because another use of the wishing well here, right? I know there's 2 silvers in the discard because the jack put 1 there. I draw everything. Nice. So I could consider Windfall here, but why would I consider Windfall at this point when I could get 4 highways? Putting my total to 7. That's tremendous. That's groundbreaking. Then I just need the buys, right? Then I just need the buys. The provinces cost 1. If I can get all of them into play, I just need enough buys and then I can do whatever I want. So I think I will picking up a festival here instead of the last highway for the buys. Nah, no way, man, no way. Just take the highways. They're much better cards. You having the highways means your opponent doesn't have the highways. So there's no threat of a pile out. We both have the same number of buys, which is 4. We all good. We all good so far. So here my opponent, he trashes the humble castle and now he goes in for a windfall, I believe. And he picks up the last highway. So he has a bunch of gold in his deck now, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried. This festival jack thing has turned out very, very nicely. I'm pleased because, like I said, it's not very often you get to use jack of all trades as a draw card. That's what I'm using it as here, as a draw card, and it helps the foragers. It's just like all this literal jack of all trades here. And he picks up an estate, which is very smart of him because he picked up a forager, and I had 4 buys. So the estate ensures that I can't pile out the game on a tie. There's no way I would go for a tie here. I'm in a much better position. So I do take a province here just to make sure he can't pile out on the 4 foragers with the 1 point lead off the estate, and a festival. The festival there is for the plus buy. I feel like the plus buy is more important at this stage of the game than the extra security from the bazaar drawing a card. So he comes out with a couple provinces here and he takes a forager. So okay, I know what he's trying to do. I don't know if this is the best thing for him to do, but he's trying to set himself up to win next turn. But that gives me a real good opportunity to end the game here. If he had left 4 foragers in the pile, right, and had just bought the 2 provinces, then I would not have been able to end the game. I would have had 5 buys, I believe, so I could have purchased all the foragers and a province, but that's not enough to win. So I think picking up that forager wasn't the greatest thing for him to do in the world. It was a difficult position regardless, but I don't know about that decision there. So the wishing wells again come out in full force here. I knew what the last card on my deck was on the second wishing well, so I guessed that. Silver here because I would like for my forager to trash something before I play the jack, but I don't find it. Instead, there's a highway at the top of the deck, which is real good, and I'm able to actually see everything here for a win, easy win, right? Because I have just the 3 foragers and I can buy 2 provinces to win. So a nice jack of all trades engine for you here in game 5. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.